Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Committee Reads. I am your host, Kaiju X, and with me today, I have GBR, Nagoda, Bacon, and Ditto. And today, we'll be going over the fourth, and I believe final, final of the first Monster Month with Match 173, Mechagodzilla Showa versus Gomora and Moguera by Kenneth James. The night scene in Hong Kong was once more turned into a deadly cavalcade of horror as a juggernaut tore through the city, leveling all in his wake. But this destroyer seemed to be none other than Godzilla himself. The towering titan smashed buildings to rubble under his massive feet or with his claws. Despite the military's best attempts to stop him, nothing had so much as halted his advance. As Godzilla approached the financial district, his foot suddenly sank into the ground. He let out a strangely mechanical roar as he toppled and smashed through the skyscraper next to him. The king of the monsters roared again. Once more not his iconic roar, but a mechanical screech, as he rose to his feet to face whatever challenger dared oppose him. Before him rose for the earth the ancient kaiju Gomora, roaring in challenge. Godzilla let out another oddly mechanical screech and prepared for battle. Gomora roared, sensing this wasn't the Godzilla he knew. This one sounded and smelled odd. Gomora was friends with Godzilla. Even if they'd clash at times, he knew Godzilla's scent. This wasn't...
Don't you love when they just introduce something out of nowhere?
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, no. The sweet, sweet scent. Anyway.
Well, I was talking about like Gomora and Godzilla were friends.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. It's like, yes. I know.
You mean you don't remember Godzilla coming to help Gomora beat up Ultraman?
How dare you?
We gotta wait a couple hundred matches for that.
This wasn't Godzilla. Gomora let out another roar and charged, horn lowered, barreling through the street straight for Godzilla. However, he found his horn caught in a hail of blows sent into his head. The prehistoric creature refused to be beaten so easily and snaked his long tail around, wrapping it around Godzilla's ankle and tugging it out from under him, sending the king of the monsters falling backwards through a small market. Not wanting to let up, Gomora sent slash after slash from his claws into the atomic saurian's hide, each strike sending a shower of sparks. Before he could continue his onslaught, Godzilla let loose a ray of heat from his mouth, staggering Gomora back off of him. But something wasn't right about it. Godzilla's atomic breath was blue, and this was orange. Gomora was now 100% sure he wasn't fighting the real Godzilla. If the strange atomic ray didn't give it away, the fact he'd uncovered glittering silver metal with his claws did.
Nothing gets past you, Gomora.
Clear. Not a single
These
detail.
Earth monsters, man. These Earth monsters are smart.
Yes. They all went to school and got educated. That's how they know. He dropped out after the 5th grade, though. It was kind of weird. Godzilla rose to his feet, swiped Gamora's head several times, staggering the kaiju back before doubling him over with a kick to the ribs. Godzilla got himself in position and wrapped his hands around the kaiju's upper and lower jaws, using his leverage to hold Gamora's head down, trying with all his might to snap his jaws like twigs. However, right as he was about to succeed, a pair of yellow energy streams struck him in the back, sending off explosions and forcing him to release Gomora, sending the Ultra Kaiju to the...
Why?
I actually had the facepalm there.
The Ultra Kaiju.
Yes, the Ultra
No.
No. No, that makes no sense here. Other than the fact that he's like, what?
What does that make in Gears? The Toho Kaiju?
I guess he's the Toho Kaiju. I can't wait for Anguirus, the Godzilla Kaiju, to get here.
That'd be like if
He
you...
was in the last match.
That'd be like if you had a match with Heisei Godzilla and you called him the Heisei monster.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Like, no, you don't...
No.
Oh.
To the ground as the king turned to view his new challenger. Moguera descended from the night sky and landed a few meters away from Godzilla. Yuki, said Koji, looking at the database on Moguera's computer. According to G-Force database, Godzilla and Gomora are normally on good terms back on Monster Island. This doesn't make any sense, replied Kiyoshi, confused. If they're friends, why would Gomora attack Godzilla?
That doesn't make sense. Gomora's an ultra kaiju. He's not in this universe. Damn.
Yuki waited to reply, looking the Godzilla in front of them over carefully. He had Moguera's computer zoom in on a spot in the monster's chest, revealing the silver metal that Gomora's attacks had uncovered. It's not the real Godzilla. It's just an imitation. Explained Yuki. Why'd I do a bad Solid Snake impression thing? Never mind. He knew Godzilla better than most people. He didn't need that metal to tell this one was a fake, but it gave him proof for his teammates. Fire plasma cannon, he ordered.
Wait,
I mean,
hold on.
when you spend a whole bunch of years on the island trying to kill him, but I think you would realize, no, that's not him. That's not the one I've been trying to kill.
So this is Showa Godzilla because it's Mechagodzilla,
Right.
but it's Yuki talking like it's his Godzilla, which is Heisei.
Right. So it's confusing. So I was like, would he just call Showa Godzilla fake as well? Because that's not his Godzilla?
No, clearly this
it's
is his
Showa
Godzilla
creation.
in this universe. Yeah, this is the Showa universe, but they have Moguera.
Or I guess that too. I don't know.
Yeah, the Mysterians happen in this universe too, don't you know?
It's like how they have it in
That's what
Space Godzilla.
So Mysterians and also the Futurians.
Right. Don't question it, anyway. Moguera's chest opened up, revealing a massive dish which suddenly let loose a powerful beam of rainbow-colored energy. The beam slammed into fake Godzilla with tremendous force, but the Juggernaut remained standing.
Exploded.
However, the resulting explosion blew off chunks of fake skin, the smoke clearing to reveal it in massive... What? To
Reveal and massive spot of silver metal.
I think it's meant to be reveal a massive spot, but not and massive spot of silver metal. Koji gasped. You're right. It's just a robot. Now I have to pass this to the next guy. So pass.
Nothing gets past you, Koji. Suddenly, the screen before them activated, showing a man wearing a silver suit. You're quite right, he explained. I am Kuronuma, leader of the aliens from the third planet of the black hole. I see you've already met our Mechagodzilla. I don't know what this voice is, I'm just going with it.
That's fine.
Yuki growled. Let me guess, you're here to take over the world, where everyone has tried, and they always fail. Kuronuma laughed, but they didn't have a war machine like this. Allow me to show you the true power of Mechagodzilla, he said, pushing a button in front of him, his image disappearing. Suddenly, Fat Godzilla's body was covered in flames, burning away the fake outer skin to reveal the true mechanized monster beneath them. Beneath them? Singular skin?
All right.
Bro literally forgot his own sentence.
He forgot his own gender, too.
Mechagodzilla quickly let out a mechanical screech and fired lasers from his eyes, slamming in Moguera's chest and driving it back. Sparks flying from its body and controls. Moguera tried to counter with his own eye lasers, but Mechagodzilla's space titanium armor was too strong and withstood it. Moguera's eye beams confirmed weaker than Anguirus's jaws. God damn. Mechagodzilla raised its arms, the hand revolving around before locking into place and firing a barrage of missiles from the fingers. The projectile slammed into Moguera's form, rocking the mecha with explosions before it toppled over to the ground, sparks flying from its form. Mechagodzilla screeched and approached to finish the job, only for a recovered Gomora to grab him from behind and send blows raining into its armor. Unfeeling, the alien-killing machine launched an elbow backwards, smashing into Gomora's nose, staggering him back. Mechagodzilla quickly turned around and smashed its arms into Gomora's skull repeatedly, metal meeting flesh with showers of sparks, until Mechagodzilla's assault finally knocked Gomora to the ground. Mechagodzilla kicked Gomora repeatedly, rolling him over so he could stomp on his throat, trying to choke the life from the heroic kaiju. Dang, Anguirus and Baragon are stronger than Gomora. Status report, yelled Yuki. We can get movement back online, but it'll take time, replied Koji. Gomora doesn't have time, and we'll need his help to stop Mechagodzilla. Can the arms move? He asked, getting a nod from Kyoshi. Then fire spiral grenade missiles, he ordered, the other two complying. Pass.
Moguera's cone-like hand sprung open, the missiles inside spinning to life and firing. The two massive rockets, singular here, slammed hard into Mechagodzilla's back. but the alien metal composing him held with minimal damage. Mechagodzilla's head spun around on its neck, facing backwards and preparing his eye lasers, only for Gomora to take the opportunity to charge energy into his nasal horn and fire the super oscillatory ray. The sheer force of the beam forced Mechagodzilla back and did some minor damage, but more importantly, allowed Gomora to regain his footing. Gomora began to charge the beam again, but Mechagodzilla took the opportunity to begin spinning his head around rapidly, a blue force field spreading out around him from his head. Gomora's beam slammed into the force field, but didn't have the strength to penetrate, even when the downed Moguera tried adding its eye cannons to the assault, ultimately proving a waste of time and energy. Realizing this, Gomora charged forward and slammed into the bear with all the force he could muster. Gomora was quickly repelled, roaring in pain as the areas of his body that made contact smoked from the force they had encountered. Mechagodzilla finally lowered the barrier, hands rotating into position and firing his finger missiles. This time, however, the missiles merely lodged deeply into Gomora's chest and shoulders instead of exploding, drawing blood and a roar of agony from the ancient monster. As blood poured down from Gomora's body, Mechagodzilla opened up the panel on his chest and locked all weapons on him. Mechagodzilla unleashed his entire arsenal on Gomora's body, sending massive explosions of smoke and fire high into the night sky.
Night.
What?
Yeah.
Night, yes. When the onslaught finally ended, Gomora bellowed in pain and fell to the ground, unconscious. Systems back online, reported Koji. Wait, when did the systems fail?
Earlier.
Weren't they just shooting eye cannons?
They were.
Good. Let's show Mechagodzilla what a real robot can do, said Yuki, even though they weren't in a real robot.
Yeah, you're in a mecha, not a robot. A robot can move on its own.
Moguera took off with his rockets, sailing through the air and smashing its bulk into Mechagodzilla, sending the alien death machine crashing to the ground for the first time the entire fight. Moguera landed before Mechagodzilla could stand up and let loose with its auto lasers, but the space titanium armor withstood the attacks as the war machine stood up and fired a jigged beam of energy from his...
I love jigged beams of
Moguera barely managed to evade the beam by flying upward, the beam tearing through the International Finance Building, slicing it clean in two and sending the top half toppling over into a row of buildings. Moguera lowered his arms and fired the plasma cannon once again, but while Mechagodzilla was staggered, his armor held up, barely missing with a counterattack from Mechagodzilla's eye lasers. Pass.
No, 3 more.
Oh, I get 3 more?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 5. Sorry.
No, 8.
Okay. Sir, none of our weapons are doing any good, reported Kiyoshi. Who's Kiyoshi? Is Avatar Kiyoshi's here now?
Okay.
Its armor is too thick. Yuki thought things over. Get in close. Drill attack, he ordered. But sir, then we'll be left wide open for a counterattack, replied Koji, earning a do-as-I-say look from Yuki. Pass.
Moguera landed and rolled full speed at Mechagodzilla. Nose drill revving up to top speed when they reached Mechagodzilla. The drill tried with all of its might to tear through the armor to no avail. Mechagodzilla opened its chest panel and intended to fire its chest beam through Mugi. Jesus Christ. Got you hunk of hardware, yelled Yuki, pulling a trigger. Hold on a second. I think that might be incorrect.
It's a very complicated button.
Moguera's still open chest suddenly let loose a powerful stream of plasma, blasting Mechagodzilla point blank. Mechagodzilla staggered back, sparks flying from damaged areas of its body. Most importantly, the crystal in its chest cannon had been obliterated and door crippled, leaving a hole in its armor. However, before Moguera could exploit it, Mechagodzilla's hand missile spun in place and fired. Strike. strike Moguera's exposed plasma cannon and obliterate it in a huge explosion. Moguera's systems crashing from the sudden damage, allowing Mechagodzilla to fire his eye lasers through the hole, erupting out of the back of Moguera's upper body. Badly damaged, Moguera toppled over to the ground and exploded, killing our 3 pilots. The robotic Godzilla screeched in victory, only for its legs to suddenly be torn from under it by Gomora erupting from underground. Having recovered from the all-out attack earlier, Gomora quickly took advantage of the grounded Mechagodzilla and wrapped his hands around the robotic killer's stub of a tail. With all his might, he lifted Mechagodzilla off the ground and spun him around, letting loose and sending him plowing through a skyscraper and burying him under rubble. Gomora roared and charged, wanting to reach Mechagodzilla before he could recover. Gomora's efforts were for naught, as the aliens' war machines' lasers launched out of the rubble, striking him in the knee and tripping him, knocking him to the ground. Mechagodzilla rose out of the smoldering rubble. He didn't need to recover. He was a machine. He knew no pain. No one delivered it. Okay, Injustice Nightwing, calm down. He marched over and lowered his finger missiles at Gomora's head, preparing to finish him off. Moguera suddenly flew in. What? Hold on! He had a fucking, chest cavity!
Moguera got turned into a donut, and he's doing this now?
Moguera suddenly flew in, sparks flying from its damaged form, colliding with Mechagodzilla and driving him backwards several meters. Moguera finally came to a stop and drove its cone-shaped head into the hole in Mechagodzilla's armor and opened it, tearing the hole open deeper. Gomora recovered, got back to his feet, and slammed his tail into Mechagodzilla repeatedly as Moguera managed to hold it in place. However, Mechagodzilla swiftly swung his head around behind him and fired, shooting Gomora in the head with his eye lasers, staggering him. Alright, bail out, ordered Yuki, seeing this is a perfect time to do so while Mechagodzilla's intention was on Gomora. But what? Why? Koji confused. Koji couldn't ask. Okay, I thought the ast wasn't there for a second. That was actually me being an idiot.
Okay.
That's the writer this time. What? Why? Asked Koji, confused. One more hit and Moguera's finished, Yuki explained. Pressing buttons. We don't want to have a bee in here when that happens, do we? He asked, his co-pilots nodding. They ran to the escape pod, but Yuki momentarily stayed behind and set Moguera's weapon systems on the timer before joining them. Is it one more?
No, you're good. Pass.
Okay, pass.
As the escape pod launched from Moguera's body, Mechagodzilla tried hard to tear himself free. However, in moments, Moguera's body lit up as it fired every weapon it had that was still functioning into Mechagodzilla's point blank. The resulting explosion obscured both of them from view. Holy crap, yelled Kyo. What did you just do? Yuki just smirked, set Moguera to fire all its weapons at once after it escaped. Koji shook his head. You're crazy. And I'm glad you're on our side. Mechagodzilla staggered through the smoke. His system sparking, his chest torn wide.
No.
He could still function. But he'd been badly damaged.
No, okay, no. They said that Moguera shoved one of its arms into Mechagodzilla's body and opened it up. That means a spiral grenade missile was fired directly into Mechagodzilla's inner workings.
And it somehow lived.
Yeah. However, the much less durable Moguera was laying crippled on the ground from a huge blast.
Shut up, Match.
Large parts of its form blown clean off, but it was still salvageable.
Salvageable, you say.
Godzilla's controllers ordered him to retreat to base for repairs, but Gomora had other ideas.
The machine that got its head torn off by Godzilla versus the machine that got blasted about 70 times by Space Godzilla.
Yes, of course, you know. I mean, like, Heisei Mechagodzilla got like a couple explosions and started blowing up, and he wasn't salvageable, but Moguera, with like most of his body broken open, oh yeah, that we can fix that.
Yeah. Gomora grabbed the damaged Mechagodzilla by the legs and pulled him back to the ground to try to take off. How is he not getting burned? But okay. Godzilla realized that to get away by any means necessary, drove his mechanical fingers into Gomora's right eye, stabbing it out. Seeing Gomora, I was like, how are you seeing in agony? Seeing Gomora in agony, his controls had second thoughts and ordered him to finish off Gomora before returning. Realizing the powerful monster could indeed pose a threat if left alive, Godzilla complied by wrapping one arm around Gomora's head and shoving his other into Gomora's mouth, trying to shove him up his mouth and into his brain.
No, what? No?
Is he still trying to fly too?
I don't know. No, he stopped flying, but
Gomora struggled as the metal fingers of the robotic Godzilla began drawing blood in his mouth. Gomora looked for a way out and noticed the hole in Godzilla's chest, knowing it was his only chance. Gomora swung his tail up inside Mechagodzilla's arm that was holding his head in place. It took several hits, but finally forced the arm to loosen its hold, allowing him to knock both arms away.
This is a goddamn One Piece fight. Both fighters have like severe organ damage, but they're just fighting perfectly fine.
Yeah. Seizing the opportunity, he drove his horn forward, driving it deep into the exposed circuitry at Mechagodzilla before letting loose a super exhilatory wave and blowing up the factory missile and killing them both. Mechagodzilla screeched as its systems began overloading and exploding from the energy being launched into his form until finally Gomora, with a great deal of effort, swung his head up, launching Mechagodzilla through the air and smashing him into the ground. The energy coursing through him caused the alien death machine to explode in a huge fireball. Space titanium rained down from the blast. Gomora panted, clutching the bleeding hole where his eye had previously been. He may have lost an eye, but he certainly won the battle. He turned to see Moguera's crew on a building, safe and sound. Yuki giving the monsters salute for fighting alongside Moguera this day. Gomora roared, showing respect of his own, but plowed the ground and burrowed off, heading back home. Winners, Gomora, Moguera, Heisei.
What was that ending?
That's probably one of the funniest revenge stories I've ever read.
Mechagodzilla already like punched out one of Gomora's eyes, but he was like, "Yes, to kill him, I will go in through his mouth."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Gomora's just that durable, guys.
The eye socket's too durable. I have to go in through the mouth.
It's like, what? And just the fact that Mechagodzilla is still up after Moguera did fire to like everything. Point blank.
They should have sent this Mechagodzilla to fighting gears.
Yeah, no, they would have been screwed.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, this is like somehow funnier for you. I know it's not related to 171, but now I like to think it is.
It does the complete opposite with Showa Mechagodzilla. Like 171 makes him just like 172 just makes him like pathetic, and then
No, don't you know they didn't send the close combat model. They sent the wrong one. That one. This one is the close combat model, clearly.
and oh yeah, 171 Mechagodzilla versus Gomora. Like this isn't related to it at all, but it's just like it fits perfectly somehow.
Somehow, in a weird way. It's like this is like the author's like soft reboot to a match he didn't realize existed. Or something. I don't know. Oh, gosh, this is somehow like funnier. Like it's all like the match itself. I think is fine. Kenneth James does do a solid job. And I think it's probably like compared to like the past, like at least from 171, I would argue it's probably the best one of the bunch. From 171 to like 72, comparatively speaking.
And there were a lot of typos and like things that just sort of like take me out of it. Yeah, there's a lot of things that take me out of the match, especially the Ultra Kaiju at the start.
Oh yeah. No, it definitely still has its glaring like flaws in those regards, but I still feel like it's still all right for the most part. So like again, there are the glaring sort of like blatant use of like terminology that shouldn't be used in the way, or again just jigged beams. Oh my gosh. Jigged beams. That one's so funny. Oh, it's so friggin' funny. It did add to the entertainment value, I'll tell you what. Jade. Oh my gosh. Oh. You know, it's like, I think this one's fine enough. Like, as far as like sort of like the basic element goes, it's like, yeah, no, it's fine. Granted, it's sort of like Gamora is sort of just like, oh yeah, you're not Godzilla, and like every point of evidence very easily just conveniently converges like, oh yeah, this isn't Godzilla. Oh my gosh. Anyway, this freaking match. I don't know why this one just gets a laugh out of me. Just kind of like from the absurdity. I don't know. I kind of enjoyed this one. Like, I don't know if I don't think it's necessarily in a good way, but I still really much enjoyed it. So, and the banner is definitely inaccurate. There's some like I want to say there was an attempt made to do something neat with Mechagodzilla, but I don't feel like it quite. I don't know, it feels a little off and definitely kind of rough. So I don't think it quite is able to live up. And again, it's just blatantly inaccurate because the actual match is at nighttime compared to what we're seeing here being set during the day. So it's like, oh, all right. Oh, mad funny, bro. But yeah, no, it's like, other than that, it's like, yeah, definitely typo stuff. Typo stuff is like, a bit of an issue, but otherwise it's like, typo stuff is a bit of an issue, and everyone's just kind of like, again, it's just get to the fight. I totally get that, but it's just sort of like, just easy, just kind of like easy, like everything's just kind of easy. And it's just like, go for it, but it's all right. So, again, just kind of an average match. So, nothing. Yeah, nothing like too crazy I could really elaborate on, other than the fact that Kenneth James, for the most part, a competent enough writer, comparatively speaking. But
yeah, I don't really have anything to say about this one. It just exists.
Yeah, with its jigged energy beams. But yeah, GVR said he didn't have much to say. Dagoto, what'd you think of it?
Well, Mechagodzilla suddenly got really, really durable out of nowhere. And then Moguera randomly started shutting off and turning back on. What else was there? Oh yeah, apparently it's nighttime, but in the banner it's daytime.
Yeah.
And Mechagodzilla's just walking through a building without it falling on him.
He's trying to
Eat your heart out, Kiryu.
He's trying to pull a G80. Trying to pull a G84.
What else was there?
Humans.
Oh yeah, Moguera is apparently very salvageable after being like half blown out. That's another thing. This is a okay match. Very generic. All right, who's next?
Gomora Fortnite danced at the end, so it's good. That sure was a match of all time. I don't know what to say about this match other than it is better Gamora. It's like a reboot of Gamora versus Mechagodzilla, like an unintentional one, so it's slightly better. But this feels like a second draft of the story. So where's the third draft?
Third draft's the HD version.
Fuck. No, the match was pretty mediocre. It had a lot of typos. I guess the best thing about it was that it made me laugh a few times. That's really it. Your turn, Ditto.
Okay, well, the banner I think it's fine. Like, aside from being misleading that it's daytime and not night, I kind of like what we got going on. Mechagodzilla's walking through a building. Building's fine. It's like Minecraft physics. Gomora's off to the bottom. I think maybe if they were a little more focused, because like I don't know, Mechagodzilla kind of blends in with the buildings, but also not because like the dust and stuff like that. I think Moguera could have been brought in a little closer, so that way the monsters are kind of together.
Yeah.
Aside from that, this match was something. There's a lot of I don't know what else to say that's already been said. It's like one thing happens after another and it's like escalating and it's like getting crazier. So did we ever, what happened to the simian leader?
Oh gosh.
He just disappeared.
Yeah, he just disappeared. That's right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, did we get something with
No, we didn't.
I guess everyone's just like, job well done. About him. Gomora's durable. Moguera's still salvageable. That's really about it. This match, Mechagodzilla month keeps delivering. This match is fine.
The event month of all time.
I think definitely got a good laughs out of this one.
Oh yeah.
I'd say
Cool.
it was enjoyable to read together.
Holy moly. Okay.
I'd say it's all right.
All right. But yeah, holy moly. I will say, like, in regards to the banner, it's like, yeah, Moguera could have been brought in closer, and I think Gomora is still evidently sort of like, it could have been patched up better, removing the joints and whatnot. Definitely, like, yeah, that definitely would have helped, like, make it look better, because that always looked a bit off. But yeah, no, beyond that, though, it's just like, yeah, no, it is what it is. So, anyway, this has been match 173 in the end of Mechagodzilla month. And I forget when the next Kaiju month is, but we'll figure that out when we get there. Anyway, it's been match 173, and we'll see you guys next time for match 174. Till then, folks.